of the year, regardless of what time you may be watching this television. But it is the time here of Christmas. And Christmas, of course, without Handel's Messiah, obviously, it would not be Christmas any more than it would without a Christmas tree. And Tom Lopresti, who comes here and visits with us and discusses different things with me, has brought me the text of Handel's Messiah. And we suggested maybe it might be interesting to look at some of it and then come up with an interpretation that is mystical. We'll tell you a little bit about what's happening here. So put the thing in a perspective a little bit where it's coming from. This is, as we're doing this, December the 11th. 10 more days. 10 more days. The sun in the sky enters the constellation called the Cross. In 10 more days, the sun is crucified. It is the shortest day of the year, December the 21st. December the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th is called the winter solstice. And the sun sits in the tomb of the earth. It is entombed in the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Crucified on the 21st, and the winter solstice, 3 days and 3 nights in the tomb. And then on December the 25th, the day you celebrate as Christmas, the sun, God's only begotten Son, the light of the world, is reborn and starts its upward trek. And that's exactly why you have a Christmas story. You're talking here about the sun, the crucifixion of the Son, the entombment of the Son, the resurrection of the Son, and the Son born first out of the constellation Virgo in September. The entire story of Jesus, the entire story of Mithra, the entire story of Tammuz, the entire story of Adonis, the entire story of Esther, all of these things. There's a Christmas tree back there. And I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but what happened to that? Well, I don't know. I was gone 2 weeks, and now the board has turned color. Whatever happened, don't worry about it. What happened? Anyhow, the Christmas tree. There is a god of mythology. Now, a lot of you don't know this. There's a god of mythology named Attis. Okay? Attis was a savior who was killed for the salvation of the world. And when Attis was buried, he was entombed, he was buried, he sent his eternal life into a tree. And that tree carried the eternal life. And that tree, a tree like that, was cut down every year to memorize the salvation, crucifixion, resurrection of Attis into that tree. Attis was born on December 25th. And that's why you have a Christmas tree. Okay? Now, let me just show you something here about the crucifixion real quick. If you take a clock, you take like a clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know, 9, 2. 11. Okay, let me just show you something that a lot of you don't. I'm going to show you the crucifixion. What crucifixion is. Okay, this is January. This is February. This is March. This is April. This is May. This is June. This is July. This is August. This is September. This is October. And this is November, and this is December, okay? And that's crucifixion. I'll show you the crucifixion. Crucifixion is the cross in which the horizontal bar of the cross this way, okay, goes actually from March to September when the days are of equal length. All right? I don't know if you can see this. Who's that? Oh, okay. I didn't see. No, that's fine. I just didn't say it. That's when the days are at equal length. The top part of the cross is the short part. The bottom part of the cross is the long part. The bottom part of the cross reaches down to June 21st, which is the longest day of the year. The short part of the cross reaches up to December the 21st, which is the shortest day of the year. That's the crucifixion of the sun god. Okay? That's why it is. That's why you have it. That's why it's the way it is. And that's why when I read about what you read and what Billy gave me of the paper, about 61% believe that Jesus is coming back and the world is coming to an end, and it's because they have no knowledge of nature. They have no understanding of nature. They've abandoned nature. There is a God of heaven, there is a God of the earth. They're both the same God. We have embraced the God of heaven, but we have turned our back on the God of the earth, and we've made our physical existence miserable. Because we don't know this stuff. And all of this stuff is done exactly this way so that you can see it, so you can have proof. What more proof can you have? And then you have the man Jesus, and the Bible turns around and says the kingdom does not come with observation, yet 61% of them believe he's coming back. He said it. I didn't say it. He said the kingdom doesn't come so you can see it. See? And he said, at that time you will know I am in you. So in other words, the second coming of Christ is within you. And so then we get to this great Horatio, this great work that was done by, what's his name? George Frederick Handel. Handel's Messiah. And I love some of his other works. I don't know if you've ever listened to some stimulating music, the water music or the royal fireworks music of Handel. But this particular thing that he wrote was probably the greatest of all. He put music to the scriptures. And this first scripture he put music to, you'll find on page 604. And so we celebrate Christmas. I don't deprive anybody of Christmas and of the spirit of Christmas, of Jesus Christ, of Santa Claus, and of all of those things. Fine, it's all wonderful. Somebody said, I think it was Ruth said a little while ago, that people get into depressions at this time of the season. And that's true, but it's not the season of Christmas that causes it. It's the position of the planets that occur at this particular time of the year. And they set up magnetic fields that cause some people to go into depression. So all of these things are natural. All of these things are scientific. But what does it say? Let's open it up and take a look at it. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. It says, comfort my people. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem. Cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for all of her sins. Comfort my people. What does that mean? In other words, what are you looking for? You're looking for this within you to make you secure. You're looking for something to make you feel happy. You're looking for something, and you're looking for something to touch you, to embrace you, to take you away from all of the fear and all of the guilt and all of the anger and all of those things that come against you. And understand something. It's only a breath of air. It's like when you take a breath between breathing in and breathing out. It's only a point between the two. It's only a stillness. There's nothing forever. There is no God. There is no religion. There is no meditation that's going to take away the parts of the negatives of life, because the negatives of life are what actually causes you to learn and struggle through so that you become positive. You lost your job. Isn't it a terrible thing? What am I going to do? And it is a terrible thing. And it's a negative. And it's part of the negative of life. And it knocks you down. And you sit and you cry and you feel bad and things are so... And then suddenly somebody tells you about something and you found a job and you're making more money and it's a better job than you had the last time. And the best thing that you'll say is, oh, the best thing that ever happened to me was to get the heck out of that other place. And now I feel... Without the negative, there cannot be a positive. If the dynamo in the great city is going to generate electricity, it does it by its abrasiveness. It scrapes against the walls, it scrapes against the sides of the turbine, and it creates this friction, and it creates light. So honor the God of the earth. You've been told by religion that the God of the earth is evil. And that's why they're all waiting for a rocket ship to get the heck out of here, because they made a mess of this place by just hallowing the God of heaven and turning their back on the God of earth. And the God of heaven and the God of earth is the same one. You can't have up without down. You can't have in without out. You can't have left without right. And I'll tell you something. You can't have spirit without material. And you can't have material without spirit. Balance. Comfort my people. And so how is it he's going to comfort? In that period of time when you have come up against the negative, it's not going to kill you. But you know, the point is you don't understand that because you've been convinced by the systems and the religions that it is. That it's evil. Instead of understanding, what do I do? You don't know what to do because you've been taught to think in the realm of the five senses, and that's as far as you can go. But you can't deal with this in thinking of the realm of the five senses. So what does the work say? Speak you comfortably to Jerusalem. That has nothing to do with the city in the Middle East. It's not talking about speaking to the city in the Middle East. There is something within you that is called Jerusalem. There is something within you that echoes this theme of Christmas, that you become the holy city. That you understand that there within that house of bread, Bethlehem, within you, near Jerusalem, is this child born. This child which will then take upon his shoulders within you all of the fear and all of the guilt and all of that. It says, speak comfortably to Jerusalem. Look at page 953 of the Bible. Galatians chapter 4 and verse 25. And in Galatians chapter 4, verse 25, what does it say? And answers to Jerusalem, which is now and is in bondage with her children, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free and is the mother of us all. Jerusalem, which is above, is free and is the mother of us all. And this is what's being spoken to. You know, just take a look at you. You look at yourself in the mirror. I look at myself in the mirror and look at something. You've gotten older.
No kidding.
And as the point comes that you've gotten older, a lot of us have missed all of this and don't have the slightest idea what's being said. And by that fact, all that will accomplish in your life is then to die and have to do this over again because, hey, you know, I haven't joined to pay attention. Here is the point that there is a Jerusalem within you. God will speak to her spirit. And what does it say? Look at what, go back to the printout. Cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, her iniquity is pardoned. In other words, those things which are going on in your mind, which are scaring the hell out of you, are finally over with. Those things which you have struggled with, you have tried so hard to figure out what to do, where to go. Finally, the warfare is over. The iniquity is pardoned. In other words, that separation between you and that which we call God is finally pardoned. The battles which have raged within you have been brought to an end. But you know what? Once you get home from the war, and once you take your uniform off, and once you sit down and you're all relaxed, and then you'll hear off in the distance of the left side of the brain, boom, boom. You'll hear the cannon start shooting again. Because there's another battle. There's another day. There's another war that has to be fought. And that's what life is all about. That's what life is. Tell me something. Tell me one. You've heard all of the religions tell you this. You've heard all of the preachers tell you this. Jesus is going to do this for you. God's going to do this for you. Religion's going to do this for you. Everything from now on is going to be wonderful. Tell me one person who has ever experienced since the beginning of time where nothing went wrong. Because of God, Jesus, Muhammad, anybody else. Tell me one person. There's never been a person, because the world doesn't work like that. That's not the way the world is. The sun shines, and then the wind blows, and the storms come because they have to. That's the nature of things. And that's what Buddha would say. Such is the nature of things. That's the way it is. And understanding it is not evil. It is simply the way. If there are things that you particularly don't like to see, don't look at them. But they will come. And look what it says here. The voice of him that cries in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Who is the voice that cries in the wilderness? That's what's in you. There is something that is within you that says, make a way. Make a straight way within you. And that means no turns, no religion. No new age, no old age, no any of that stuff. Make a way within yourself. And who is the one that cries in the New Testament? The one that stands at the water. And the one that stands at the water is known as John. And why is it the place of water? Because the mystics understood that in your brain there are 5 stages of consciousness. The first is earth. The second is water. The third is air. The fourth is fire. And so it says, make a straight way. Make a way for the Lord. Make a straight way in the desert, a highway. Look at it. Look at it. What is that? Make a way. Make a straight way within yourself, a one way, a highway. A higher realm of consciousness that you can understand that which is God. And so it is epitomized. Look at page 778 in the Bible. And there in Matthew chapter 3, verse 3. Matthew chapter 3, verse 3. What does it say? It says, "For this is he that was spoken to the prophet Isaiah, the one crying in the wilderness, and the same John had his raiment of camel's hair," etc. So it is John because John is the one who stands at the place of the water, and the water is the second stage of consciousness. When you raise yourself in meditation, you reach that second stage of consciousness, which is water. And then you rise up into the air. And so it says, "He who comes to baptize you with water," John, and then there'll be another one who will come to baptize you with fire, which is the fourth stage of consciousness, which is the Christ. But make straight, which means no bends, no turns, no way but one way, that universal way of meditation. And you make that way in the desert, which is making that place an absolute nothingness. Take no thought, a highway, where the higher realms of consciousness touch and meet, and there we all stand together in this universe. I am just so hopeful, and I feel so good that suddenly, somehow, that all of these people will have to come to grips with the fact that the God that exists in the universe is not one that sends Armageddons, is not one that sends fire on the earth, is not one that will destroy children or animals or whatever to prove a point, but one who brings everyone together and brings us together so that we begin to understand, that we're taught, we learn, we understand nature, we understand one another, we understand ourselves. And now what happens to you? You can just look at the printout that we have there. Every valley shall be exalted. You know what that means? That means your depressions will be lifted. Do you know what it means? It means your depressions will be lifted. And isn't that something that is so important for so many people because they have lived in the world of depression? And why wouldn't they be depressed? Your religion, the religion that teaches you about God, has said to you that your God is sitting on a planet somewhere preparing a nuclear war. That's enough to make anybody depressed. In other words, that's like saying whoever it is that owns your house is starting a fire in the basement while you're in it. And this is the one that you're supposed to worship. But it says here, look what it says. Every valley shall be exalted. Those things which are depressed deep within you shall be lifted. And every mountain and hill made low. The ego, the mind that is maddening, will be rested. There will be balance. That high place will be brought down. That low place that will be brought up, there will be balance. That which is the low, that which is the high will come together. That which is the black and the white will come together. That which is the male and the female come together. That which is the spirit and matter will come together. There will be a balance. There will be a oneness. Every valley shall be lifted. Every high place shall be made low. There will be balance. And there's got to be balance between you. There's got to be balance in your life. There's got to be balance in all of our lives. And there's got to be an understanding of nature. I don't care if you ever come into a church. It doesn't make any difference if you ever open a Bible. But you've got to turn and start to understand nature and start to look at nature lovingly and start to look at nature caringly and start to look at what nature does and start to open yourself to nature and start to live nature and feel the love of nature and to start to understand all of this. And all of this is coming from that inner voice. There is something within you crying in the wilderness of your mind saying, hey, make a way, wake the hell up, will you? Wake up. That's what it's saying. There's no gentleman in there saying, wouldest you comest to the tablest? He's saying, get the hell off your rear end and understand what's going on. How long are you going to let these screwballs stand up here with all of these robes and tell you that there's a God? This God somewhere is preparing a nuclear holocaust and he's going to blow up everybody and take them who go to their little church up in rocket ships. And 61% of them believe it, and 61% of them say, yes, he's coming back, when the one who they claim to love said, no, I'm not. So he's saying, hey, maybe your children don't understand this, but you're not a child. Wake up. Wake up and understand what's going on. And this is what, look at you don't have to look in the Bible because we'll just take a minute. It's got it written right here. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed. How? What? Within you. The voice crying out in the desert is an impulse within you telling you to wake up. Make a way within yourself. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to join a religion. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to listen to anything. You don't have to read any books. You have to start working within yourself, raising your meditation within yourself, because there's a voice crying within you saying, make a highway. Not a low way. Make a highway. And then the unbalance that you feel yourself in suddenly will be balanced. The low places will be brought up. The high places will be brought down. Just like the days are equal in September and March, there will be a highway. There will be an equal way within you. And that's what the singers are singing, and that's what the man is writing. And it says, the glory of the Lord shall be revealed. What is the glory of the Lord? Yourself, the light within yourself. You know what the glory of the Lord is? You become enlightened. You become aware. You understand yourself. You understand nature. You understand nature's purpose. You understand your own purpose. And you start to move in this beautiful light within you. And then when all the crap starts coming down against you, you look at the crap and you respond to it in a way that you never could before. You are no longer running through the wall. You are no longer kicking holes in things. You are no longer kicking holes in people. You suddenly begin to be able to react and say, hey, this is too much for me. I am going inside and I'm going up to the mountain and I will hide in my ark until the storm is finished. At least you'll be able to do that. But you better wake up. As the book says, you better not pout. You better not cry. I'm telling you why. It's coming to town. You know who's coming to town? Huh? Who's coming to town? And you know what? In your brain, and you have a brain, in the center of that brain is a thing called colostrum. And it makes the oil come down into your body. And that oil goes all through your body, and it is the oil of life. You know what that oil is called? It's called chrism. The chrism comes down from heaven, and when you meditate, you raise it back up to the Father's house. And the colostrum is the gift of life, and when it comes in, a mother breastfeeds, and they call the breast milk colostrum. And the ancients knew it was the gift of life that came down from that higher part of the brain, and so the ancients called it the holy colostrum. The sanctified colostrum, the saint colostrum. And then it began to become abbreviated. It was the Holy Claus, it was the Saint Claus, and it became the Santa Claus bringing gifts from the North Pole. Down the chimney, down the spine comes the gift of life. Back up the chimney, up the spine goes that gift when he hooks up his reindeer and flies off into being exalted. Whatever. Now look at real quick here. Number 4, thus said the Lord of hosts, yet once a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land, and I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come. It's going to shake everything. But look at Luke 17:21. What does it say? The kingdom of God is within you. What's going to be shaken is that which is within you. And you know what gets shaken? The way you think. And you know what? You don't think a bit like you used to think. At least I don't. And I know that you don't. All of the things which you held to be so important, so much of a doctrine, so much of the foundation of your life, so much of the group that you had to stay with has been shaken and fallen just like an earthquake took it and crashed it to the ground. And you're not comfortable with it anymore. Shake the heavens, shake the earth, shake that which is the spirit, shake that which is the mind, shake it down. Everything is gone the way you used to think, and everything has to be. This is Aquarius. The heavens and the earth have been shaken. They haven't. What happened to the Soviet Union? The people's minds were shaken. What happened to the Berlin Wall? The people's minds were shaken. What happened to South Africa? They made the convict the president. The people's minds were shaken. What happened to Israel and Yasser Arafat? The people's minds were shaken. And they shake hands with the people of Jordan. And even the Catholics and the Protestants aren't shooting each other in Ireland anymore. What happened? They found out after all these damn years that it wasn't necessary to take a gun in order to prove a point of God. Because their minds have been shaken. The heavens have been shaken. The earth has been shaken. This is God's kingdom. The kingdom within you, the thought patterns of people have been shaken. And it says, and the desires of all nations shall come. Look, folks, it's not the desires of the Christians. It's not the desires of the Americans. It's not the desires of the Palestinians or the Muslims or the Buddhists or the Baptists. It's not the desires of the... It is the desires of all nations. The desires of all. The universal truth that dwells within you. There is a universal truth that dwells within you, and it's the exact same universal truth that dwells within somebody in Palestine, or somebody in Tokyo, or somebody in Argentina, or somebody in Borneo. That universal truth that is within the minds of every living thing that breathes is the same. There's no different God. There's no different denomination. There is one denomination. It is nature, and it dwells within the consciousness of everything that is alive. And when you go and you touch it, you immerse yourself into the waters of it, you lift yourself into the fire of it, and you become one with all that is and all that is God. And then you find out that there is no evil God of the earth and no good God of the heaven. There is God. Oh, you want to see? I don't even know what page it's on. Hurry up quick, because we're like, go to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 45. Read about God. What does God say in Isaiah chapter 45? And what I'm telling you. What does it say? Isaiah chapter 40. You there? What page is it on? 609. I want you to see it. I want you to see it for yourself. Because you've never seen it before. And I want you to take this. And this is a pledge to me. You go to the nearest born-again Christian friend that you have and you show him the Bible. And it's important. It's not to start a fight. It's to try to start to show reality, to show nature, to begin to understand. And it says in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7, God speaks and says, well, first of all, in verse 6, in the last sentence, he says, I am the Lord and there is none else. And look what he says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. How does the Lord create evil? Because he creates energy, and he gives you the energy, and you screw it up, and it becomes evil. Give an electrician the wires in this building, we have light. Give me the same wires, and we have a monstrous fire. Because ignorance. So the desires of all nations, and obviously shakes the sea and the dry land. It's the emotions in the mind. The ways of traditional thinking must be shaken down. And now the wonder of this understanding is shown. Watch this real carefully. Malachi 3, verse 1. You don't have to look it up because it's on the sheet. Look at the sheet. The Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. The Lord who you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Go to page 945. And I'm sorry we're running a little late, but first time back and we got, just bear with me and I promise you I'm almost done. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. The Lord whom you seek, if our earthly house were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heaven. Your temple is not made with hands. The temple that the Lord suddenly appears in is the temple that is within you. And so suddenly appearing within you is this God. And what does Jacob say in the Old Testament? I have seen God face to face, and I shall call the place Peniel. Write that down in your Genesis 32:30, and I have to go there now. I have seen God face to face, and I shall call the place Peniel. Because within you, that voice from the wilderness has come and make a place, make a highway, make a higher realm of consciousness within yourself, and the Lord shall appear you, and he'll lift the depressions, and he'll calm the ego, and he'll make a balance in your life so that you're able to live, and you're able to deal with all the crap that comes against you. And it says in Malachi, it says, if you read this part here, who may abide the day of his coming, for he is like a refiner's fire. You know what a refiner's fire does? A refiner's fire burns all of the crap off and reveals the gold. And you know what the crap is? All of the stuff that you've gotten all of your life from your family, from the government, from the schools, from the church. All of these things that have told you that you're worthless, you're a sinner, you don't know nothing. You know, everything within inside of you is the universe. And all of that is burned away because he is like a refiner's fire, meaning he burns away. How does he burn away? The fourth stage of consciousness is spirit, which is fire. And all of that which is of the lower is burned away. And you are able to see. You're able to understand. You're able to realize that you've got a job to do. You know what they do? Religion, you're born here. You claim Jesus, and then you go the rest of your life until you drop dead, and then after you're dead, you're going to get something good. Do you want that? Do you want to get something good after you're dead? Is that a deal? Is that a deal? Would you buy a car and say, hey, you can pick it up after you die?